Jesus is the sweetest name I know, and he's just the same as his lovely name, and that's the reason why I love him so. Jesus is the sweetest name I know. Jesus is the sweetest name I know. Thank you for that kind applause. That really makes us feel good this early, freezing cold of California winter whatever we're having here. It's good to be here back in Clovis in this beautiful facility with Pam and Dale's friends and family. It's good to see all of them. We've known I guess Dale and I have been trying to figure out 66, 67, somewhere in there we met each other. And he was working for my dad, Earl, and playing the piano for me. Dad hired him to be my piano player back in 61. About the way it worked out. And we've been friends. We've been coming to see Dale and Pam, and they came to see me this summer. It was awesome. They said, "Where you at?" I said, "Home." I said, "You want to meet us somewhere?" They would actually come to my house. I don't know why, but they wanted to meet in the next town. Come down. No. We'll meet you somewhere else. So, but you are welcome anytime you want to come back. Man. So, the Weatherford Quartet started. My dad started all of this with the help of your dad, Erlene. Your dad used to sponsor my dad all up through here back in the day, and I found some pictures of some concerts that they did way back in those days. But Earl Weatherford started the Weatherford Quartet in 1944 down in Long Beach. He spent his pretty much that time until he passed away singing the gospel songs, helping other people get their start in gospel music. The landscape of traditional gospel music would be quite different if it had not been for Earl Weatherford, even to this day. If we were to trace our family tree down, we could find groups that are on the road today doing quite well. And we're thankful for the way the Lord has used our lives. You're talking about this mic. This was my dad's mic. He bought it new in 57. He was at the Akron, Ohio at the Cathedral of Zamar with Rex Humbard when he picked this thing up from RCA. It's been in my family ever since. I like it because it kind of I feel like I'm standing up here with the quartet because I can smell them still. Been on the bus too long. And it's been around a while. I'll order us pizza. I didn't know how that would go. But anyway, it's an old relic. Yes, sir.
Did your dad spend some time in Fresno?
He lived in California. My folks lived in Turlock. I don't know much. I wasn't here then. And they of course, they were here quite a bit. And of course, Don helped. I mean, we had albums. I got albums on the back from Gospel Music Supply, whatever they was.
For some reason, I was thinking that Earl and Lily spent some time here. Either living here and or singing out of Fresno.
That's very possible. They didn't tell me everything they did, and that's probably for good reason.
I was just thinking about everything else.
I didn't find out about Turlock until after they were gone. I'm like, what are you doing? Turlock. They did start out, they started out here in Long Beach, and my dad, of course, there was a guy out here named Bob Jones. He had a group called the Songfellows. My dad wanted to be a professional baseball player. Well, it was on his way to doing that when World War II broke out and took him off the ball field along with everybody else. He was going to join the service, and he had a heart defect that kept him from signing up and going to the war, but he decided to move to California to do something to help out World War II, so he went to the shipyards in San Pedro. And And there he was playing baseball in some of the leagues around the area during the war. It wasn't much, but then Bob Jones Sr. invited him to a Sunday afternoon gospel concert. He went, and of course he had music in his family. My great-grandparents were gospel music evangelists, and they literally traveled around. Their first bus was a covered wagon with horses, buggy. They went around from church to church, pulling this buggy and singing. And skipped a generation. My dad started singing, and then I started singing in with my folks in the 60s. And it just depends on how you want to look at it. I went on the road with them in 64. I probably carried this mic stand in when I was a baby at a time or two. And I remember this mic well. And I would sing a couple of songs and then sit down and do whatever. And then in 76, I joined the group full time. Oh, and I joined my dad. He had a full quartet in summer of 1976. We had a full band. We carried our own piano and organ. We had a drummer. We had a piano player. We had a bass picker and occasionally a horn player. We had 13 people on the bus. Wow. Ooh, yeah, was what we were thinking. Exactly what my dad, why are we doing crazy? Oh. And so, I don't know what happened. We were staying at a Howard Johnson's hotel in Springfield. I remember it clearly. Howard Johnson, Springfield, Missouri. The drummer stole some of the bass player's pimple medicine. Got one of his pills. They were having an outbreak and they wanted to stop it. So the bass player got mad at the drummer for stealing one of his pimple pills. I don't remember this. I mean, this is what happens on a bus. It has nothing to do with this. So the bass singer took up with the bass player. I think he's right. And then the next thing you know, everybody in the whole band was fighting about whose fault it was. And it got crazy. It got crazy on the bus. We were headed home. My dad parked the bus. He was driving. I stood up. Everybody was in front of the bus. I said, well, I tell you what, I've heard some of you are planning on leaving. That's fine. I know you want to quit and go home, do something else. That's fine. I'll have your check ready for you when you walk by. I said, the rest of you can just go with them. That's what he said. I have your check ready too. Thank you. And let's see, 10 people got off the bus that day. The only ones left were my mom and dad and me. And I'm like, okay, now what? He said, son, can you sing that part? And I said, I'm just singing it down. I'm sitting on the front row anyway. I can do as good as that guy. He said, well, you're going to have to sing with us this week, I guess. I said, I don't mind. I said, I'll tell you what, Dad, I'll help you this summer. I know you're looking at some other people. We were talking about the other night how my dad was always looking for talent and found some good ones along the way. He said, well, I got some people in mind. I keep looking at them. You just sing for me this summer, and we'll see what happens. It's been a really long summer. Yeah.
Almost 100 years.
I'd like to introduce the fourth generation of gospel music singers to the Weatherfords. Give a hand to Mr. Skylar Weatherford.